Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, you're probably noticing that I'm not speaking Spanish. And that's because on my Instagram, I made you guys vote if you guys wanted me to record a video in English, because I know there's a lot of people out there who know me and follow me and they don't speak Spanish and they would like me to see record a video in English, and that's kind of like what I've been wanting to do for a while, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm kind of happy that I'm sitting down and recording this video in English, because I know a lot of people out there send me messages saying that they want to watch my videos but they don't understand shit that I'm saying, and I just, like I said, this video is in English and I'm not gonna stop making videos in Spanish, so don't worry. If you do want to keep up with me, follow me on my Instagram. I kind of want to let you guys start deciding and, you know, kind of speak up for things that you want to see. I actually sat down to record this video a lot, like 2 times, but I've had a lot of, like, I guess, fear filming this video, because first of all, I don't have a lot of knowledge dating, and I don't have a lot of knowledge just at all with romantic relationships, and that's one of the reasons. It's because I've transitioned like a year ago, and it's not like I took hormones and I all of a sudden like looked like this. It was a process, and just around a couple months ago, I had a few experiences here and there, you can say, about dating and about guys, and I kind of learned what turns me on and what kind of actually makes me not want to be around you anymore. And I kind of saw that opportunity as a way to speak up for me and for the trans community, and make a video on what kind of things a trans girl likes and what kind of things you kind of really shouldn't say or shouldn't do. I kind of believe that we're equals. Trans women, cis women, straight guys, trans men, gay, bi, everything. I feel like we're all equal here. We're all equal here. We're equals in the eyes of God, if you believe in one. We're not equals in the eyes of the law. We're not equals in the eyes of the government. We're not equals. There's laws literally repelling us from existing. There's laws that say that we don't exist. There are laws that ban us. There's even laws in other countries that make it okay to kill us. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, I feel like my number one rule on dating, if you're a guy and you want to date a trans woman, is simply take trans out of the equation. There's nothing more unvalidating as a woman than somebody treating us like we're nothing but a woman, like we're a trans woman. And I actually know a guy, he used to go to my college, and he likes trans women, but the way he talks about them, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm dating this trans woman, and oh, I would like to date a trans woman, and like, and I actually, one time I actually stopped and I'm like, you know, you can just say woman. Just say woman. I'm not even dating the guy and I don't want to talk to him again. You know what I mean? Because society and the laws and the government, they kind of project this idea that trans women are nothing but trans women, and they're nothing but less than what's above, you know? And I feel like when a guy actually I feel like a guy shouldn't treat us equally. They should treat us better, because there's nothing more validating as a woman than a guy making us the priority. And I'm not saying like, oh, like he should do all the work, because I I'm a victim, you know? Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like a lot of us can bring a lot of things in the table, but one of the things that like kind of turns me off is when guys, they make it a thing. And I'm not really saying with comments, well, there I've gotten comments, but I'll get to that later. But they kind of treat us like we're not a woman, and that's not necessarily something that I am interested in, you know, in doing. And that brings me to my second point. Do your research. Do your research. Go on your laptop and do your research on what it's like to be trans, what it's like for people like us to like live and go about the world, not only in America, not only in the United States, but what it's like to be trans in Russia, what it's like to be trans in other countries that have laws that make it okay to kill them, you know? And when you see, and when you have your research, and when you treat us with that knowledge, and you treat us better, you open the door for us, you advocate for us. And that's actually something that you can do for a trans woman to make her feel more like comfortable around you, as when she's around you and she feels protected. And I feel like, because personally, sometimes I'm walking out at night, or I'm walking out in an alley, or I'm handing my ID at a club, and I feel like, you know, like I'm gonna be seen as a trans woman. And I don't really share this often, but a lot of times I actually like fear for my life, you know, like, am I gonna be beat up because like I'm telling this person that I like that I'm trans? Like, you know what I mean? And that's something that a video that I want to record later or another time. It's, you know, how to tell a guy that you're trans, you know? But going back to dating, I do feel like that's something that would make a trans woman be not only comfortable around you, but it's gonna make her feel like understood and comforted. It's that feeling of like, you know, like I'm walking with you, and you know, because you don't have to like be like have a cap on and have like a pepper spray and be like, come, let's go for a walk. No, it's like you can do that with your energy. You don't have to walk with a trans woman and have a knife in your, like, you know. But yeah, I do feel like kind of advocating for a trans woman, it's gonna make her feel like, it's gonna make her like you, most like probably. You know, I'm not really a big fan of pickup lines. I'm not really a big fan of like, I feel like that's very like a fuck boy kind of language. I like when a guy's actions speak louder than their words, you know? And by the example that I said earlier, I feel like that's a big action, you know? Like I said, there's nothing less repellent than a guy who is ignorant. Because when a guy is ignorant, and by ignorant I mean, I had a guy that I really liked tell me that what he knows about trans women is it's us being sex workers and us being crack addicts, and you know, that's nothing really, there's nothing really seductive about that. There's nothing really seductive about a guy who's ignorant, you know, like, because I can easily debate that like this, but then it's like I kind of become a teacher. I kind of become like I'm a zoo animal. Like I'm being stared at, not in a very nice way. And that's something that would repel any trans woman. If you ask a trans woman of value, say that I'm saying women and not girl, trans woman of value would walk out as soon as they see you being a trans chaser, as soon as they see you treating them less than a woman, and they see you not doing your research. And what do I mean by doing your research? What I mean is, watching this video is a type of research. Googling what it's like to be trans in whatever country you are, or Googling, like, doing your research on what happens to our bodies when we start transitioning. What happens to, or like, you know, like, if I were to date a guy who is out of my understanding, like a different religion, for instance, like, I would probably sit down and type what that religion is like, you know, what they do, what their beliefs are, you know, because I don't want to go to the person and go without that knowledge, you know. It's treated like, treat dating as the same way you would treat a job, you know. You go prepared, you show up, you present yourself to the person that you're with, and you do your best to not get fired. You do your best to not get rejected or not get your heart broken, you know? So treat dating the same way you would treat a job. You know, you show up, you advocate, you know, you're a person of value, you do your research, you know, stuff like that are very appealing to any trans woman of value. Okay, so I feel like I've said a lot of things. I feel like I've said a lot of things on what not to do, and I don't want to make this video like very like bashing men or bashing society or bashing the laws and the government, because I don't want to come across as a hater. And, like, I don't expect men to like know, but I expect quality men. You know, I don't expect to date boys, because trans people, like trans women, trans men, we go through a lot. Like, we go through a lot with looking for a job. We go through a lot with changing our names. We go through a lot to validate who we are. And we don't really need someone who treats us less than what we actually are. Because if you date a trans person, like, that's not something to be looked down on. That's not something to be ashamed of. That's actually something to applaud you for. That you're dating someone who had the courage to finally express themselves the way they feel inside. You know what I mean? So I believe that the time will come. I believe that the time will come when trans people are gonna be applauded for. You know, like, you should be freaking proud that if you're dating a trans woman or you want to date one, you should be proud, because, like, there's nothing more like attractive than a person who knows who they are and who's fighting for their rights, you know. And when you treat them with nothing less than who they are, or when you like look down on them, or when you kind of like, because transphobia is a real thing, and transphobia, it's kind of like racism, like, you don't, or like sexism, like, you don't walk into a bar, or like, you don't walk into your office and there's like posters with like, oh, we don't value women around here, we don't value trans women around here, we don't value black people around here. It's quiet. It's very quiet. And you probably, if you're trans, or if you're a person, like, you're not like in the like in the highest of the patriarchy, like a white guy, like, you'll know what I'm talking about. Racism and transphobia, homophobia, sexism is not something like people don't shout it up in the winds. You know, it's very quiet. It's like very under the table. And I've had to I still have to deal with that, you know. Not in the way that I thought I would have to deal with, but I still, like, sometimes I've had to deal with that. So I don't want to bring that in a relationship. I don't want to date a guy who's doesn't have the knowledge, doesn't have the capacity to date someone like me, because I know my worth and I know my value, and I know how much I've fought for to be who I am, and I don't want to date someone who, like, looks down on me, or who doesn't really know what it's like to be me, you know. And I do feel like you can actually have a conversation with the person that you're dating. Like, if you actually have questions that Google can't answer but your partner can, you know, ask them. I'm not saying you can. Like, I'm not saying you have to keep your mouth shut if you have any questions about dating a trans woman, because there are things like, there's things that's like sex, it's different, you know, like a lot of trans women deal with dysphoria, gender dysphoria, and if you don't know what that's, if you don't know what that is, Google it. But a lot of women deal with dysphoria, a lot of them stronger than others, and sex is not something that it's very like comfortable with a trans person. So for example, like sex is something that you can actually ask and not make them feel like a freak, but you know, just be like, hey, like you know, I value you a lot and I like you very much. Or if you don't want to tell them that you like them yet, don't say it, but just have a conversation like, hey, listen, Cindy, I really like you, I think you're great, and I feel like I want us to be comfortable with each other, and I just want to have a conversation with you regarding having sex. And like, I don't know, I'm so bad at this, like I said, but it's like, if you have a conversation with the person and you're honest and you speak from your heart, the person, like, I'll see it, you know. I can see when someone's speaking from their heart versus when they're just being ignorant, because it's sad that I can see that clearly because of so many times that has happened to me. But yeah, I really hope that this video was helpful, because I actually like try to do a lot of writing. Like, I actually wrote all the things that I wanted to tell you guys. So if you thought this video was helpful in any way, please let me know. I would love to hear you guys' feedback. If you want to follow me on my Instagram to keep up with me and so I can let you guys vote on the next video topics, please do. Princesa Peach is my username. And also, if you liked the video, subscribe and like. Okay, I really hope you liked it. I'll be back with a video in Spanish, don't worry. I really appreciate talking to you today, and I hope you have an amazing week. Bye.